It has been over half a year now since the release of the classic collection of the original Battlefront games. With a few patches along the way, I decided to turn on my console and play the classics again for the millionth time. This video I want to specifically talk about a few points to try and persuade or dissuade you to buy the game for yourself. Greetings everyone, my name is Lucian. I have been a massive fan of Battlefront since pretty much the beginning. Playing them originally on the PlayStation 2, later moving on to even the Nintendo DS version for Elite Squadron, I believe, if that was the name. I can't remember if it was Renegade or Elite Squadron. It was specifically about the X1 and X2 clone storyline, and then obviously moving on to the EA version or DICE version of the Battlefront game. So I do have my fair share of knowledge, and I love for the games that I do want to talk about because it's very important to me, at least. The classic collection came out in an absolute horrible state. Limited amounts of servers online, high ping, save game issues, audio problems, texture issues like the flickering of the Hoth terrain, and a bunch more. Few patches came out along the way, though you'd have to wait a month or two in between for fixes to happen. With a game that doesn't exactly hold hundreds of hours worth of content alone, it'd be hard to keep the players' retention for so long, and even after decades, given how this is pretty much a port for a 2-decade-old game. That didn't stop me though. I still have the game pretty much on console, and the Classic Collection is the only version on console I still currently have. So I decided to play it and see how it was doing. Most of the issues are fixed. Single player was a pretty flawless run with a few hiccups here and there, and I still had a ton of fun playing Galactic Conquest. The addition of achievements made the game a lot of fun due to the extra challenges that came with it. Though I do want to specify, it mostly has been a grind fest. I mean, it was that bad that I simply had to actually make a tutorial on how to quickly get an achievement. But there are reasons, and I can see them, for players to keep playing after they had their initial fun with the campaign and Galactic Conquest. However, I do want to specify that multiplayer is pretty much non-existent. I took a look on the classic subreddit because on the PlayStation 5 I wasn't really finding any game. And they ask specifically a ton of questions like, is it still worth playing? Should I buy the game? That sort of thing. And people always reply with single player yes, multiplayer no, and especially because the PC's version of multiplayer is dead. This is something I wanted to figure out because I myself don't actually have the PC version, as I didn't want to actually spend 60 euros in total for two separate platforms. All in all, it's a massive mixed bag, and for the current price tag, I just simply can't recommend it at all. You can check the collection's lowest price on Steam DB, it was 28 euros. The original separate for 2 to 3 euros, meaning you can basically get the same experience minus the achievement system and split screen on PC for a little over 20 euros less. Add to the fact both games separately have a ton of modded content, you could technically play many more hours compared to the collection. Honestly, I tend to not want to talk negatively about Battlefront specifically because it's basically my childhood, I guess, and I want to really put on my nostalgia goggles and say it's good. But I do have to mention that a bad port is a bad port, and it's very hard to just deny it. There's no point. I honestly like I said, I can't recommend it. If you really want to try out the classics, then just simply buy the older versions. Anyways, that's going to be it for me today. Thank you all for watching. It's been an absolute pleasure. I'll see you all in the next video. Take care.